Morning. Morning, everyone. Welcome to the big day. Welcome, welcome. CPI day. Morning from Brazil. Go Jets. Go Jets. 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 No, go Giants. I don't mind seeing the Jets do well, though. Morning. Welcome back. Thanks for starting the morning with me again. Red October. I guess it depends on today. Malaysia. Wow. Los Angeles. Go Texans. Connor. I don't know. I don't know about them Texans. Berlin. Cowboys. Ooh, Omar. All right, I'll root for the Cowboys this week. I need the Cowboys to beat the Eagles, so I'll root for the Cowboys this week. Yeah, New York teams always let you down. Yeah. Not when I was a child. I was able to experience 2 giant Super Bowls, so that was the highlight of the New York sports. And the Rangers usually don't let you down. Morning, guys. Brazil. NFC East, man. NFC East. I don't believe it, really. The only team I think is good from the NFC East are the Eagles, I have to be honest. The Eagles are probably the actual good team. Giants. This week's going to be a big test for the Giants versus the Ravens. That's a big test. If they can just stay in that game, I'll be happy. I don't expect them to win that game. All right. Well, let's continue. So live stream's going to be a little bit different today. I don't have a schedule for us because really what we're going to do before 8:30 is just the futures and sort of take a look at that economic calendar. Before that, we have to just sort of wait because we don't want to look at everything and then, have to re-look at everything all over again after CPI. The one thing that's happening this morning is the pound is moving higher. This is causing the market to have some relief this morning. This is the reason you're seeing some upside this pre-market. the British pound. To look at it on Thinkorswim, it's /6B. This is sort of relief, it looks like, for the market, as of right now at least, because of all the things going on with the whole Bank of England news. So this little relief on the British pound seems to be assisting the market a tad. So this is something to watch out for. I'm not too focused on this. I think CPI is the big one today, but that is sort of something that's moving the market this morning, just to let you guys know. All right. So, I'm not going to use the schedule today because what we're going to do is just sort of look at the economic calendar, sort of prepare for that. We'll pull up the CPI estimates for you guys, get an idea of what we should expect. We'll look at the futures, and then it should be around 8:30. After 8:30, we'll do our best to get through some of the major tech stocks, some major stocks that are on the market, and just sort of look at the reaction on CPI. Because I don't want to, we could look at Apple right now, and then, CPI comes out, and everything I say is just not even true. So I'm going to wait for that. Here's CPI, right? Today, 8:30, we have Consumer Price Index. We have the core, right? That's CPI. Core CPI and normal CPI, right? Core, let me make sure I don't mix this up. Core CPI is X food and energy, right? CPI excluding, okay. So core CPI is X food energy, right? Removes price changes of the same items from the CPI each month. So core CPI, X food and energy, and then CPI has that baked in, right? So here's the core CPI and then the regular CPI. So let's go ahead and pull up, right? We have that today. We also have jobless claims, which I don't think really means anything today. It's going to be all about CPI. Tomorrow, retail sales, inflation expectations, but I don't expect, if we move down on CPI, I don't expect us to bounce because of retail sales, right? I think it's going to be mostly what is the CPI, and I'm not even showing you guys that. What is the CPI, and sort of this I think influences the market in a single direction, right? So let me go ahead and pull up the investing.com chart for us to look at here. So here we go. So right here, all these ads, man, jeez, bombard me with ads. So here we go. So this is today, right? October 13th, right? We're anticipating this. That's close. Going to see on your stream. Is that close? Oh, you're talking about. All right. So this is October 13th, right? That's today. And the forecast is 8.1, right? That's the same forecast that we had for the last month's reading. That's the same forecast, right? And the previous, so we had 8.5 the previous, and then we had an 8.1 forecast, and it came in higher than forecast. Now, it came in lower than the last, right? This was the previous reading, and this was the next reading. So it did come in lower. So you had a trend of it moving down, right? It went up, 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 and then the two last readings are trending down. So you would need, right? I think the market needs to see this downtrend continue. It needs to see a lower number than 8.3. We cannot see this flatten, right? If today is 8.3 and this flattens, then that downtrend is starting to flatten. That means inflation is not coming down fast enough. So you really need to see a lower than I would say you need to see at least the forecast or lower today for the market to be okay. If you see higher than forecast today and maybe not even a change from the previous reading, that would, I think, be a bearish reaction for CPI. So we'll see what happens, right? That's what we'll see at 8:30. I think you're going to want to see 8.1 or lower if you think the market can move higher. That's at least what I'm thinking. So 8.3, 8.5 previous, you're going to want to see 8.1, I would say. If it's any higher than 8.1, I would say maybe we get a little bit of reaction to the downside. So let's see what happens. That's sort of what we're waiting on today. Let's go back and look at previous CPIs. So this is, 1980. That's a long time ago. Yeah, so we're the highest we've been in quite some time, right? So that's that. More ads. That is CPI, and we'll see what happens at 8:30 today when we get it. All right. So let's get a good look at the futures here while we kill some time before that 8:30 reading. That's really what we're waiting on here. Let's go hourly chart. So you guys can see, actually, you know what? Let's just go 5-minute first and look at what's happened over the last few days. So you guys can see, this is just a good example, for you guys out there, in the future when we have big weeks like this with economic data, just look at the price action, right? If you just closed your eyes for the first 3 days of this week and didn't trade, I think you made the right decision. Right? I've been sort of pretty light on the trading side. I've taken like 1 or 2 trades a day, just got out of there as soon as I could. If I liked something, I'll take it. If I don't, I don't, I'll leave it alone. So, you can see, if you just didn't do anything the first 3 days, you really didn't miss anything, because this is all just anticipation of, big economic data. You can see a bunch of chop here. Yesterday was the worst day of the week. I mean, look at that. So, if you maybe, shorted the tops and bought the bottoms, then you probably did okay yesterday, if that's sort of how you want to trade. But overall, looking at the last 3 days, you can really see it's just a complete chop fest. And we're hoping that today we see something. Today, I hope that we see a little bit of movement. I don't really care the direction. I just want to see some movement today. The bottom that we've been holding is this 10-8. Right, we've been holding on to this 10-8 pretty damn strong right around here, and we've been continuing to reject that 11,000. So it's about a 200-point range here on the Nasdaq that we have continued. To sort of chop in between. So 11,000 to 10.8, and today we can see whether this wants to push above or if it wants to break down below 10.8. So let's watch out for that. 11,000, if you get a push to the upside, right? 11,000, maybe we can get that push to 11.1. If the market is actually strong today, I would say, maybe towards that 11.3. If we get like a really strong reaction off CPI, I would say maybe like a 3% move, 4% move today. If we get best case scenario everything, I would look out for maybe a move towards that 11.3, 11.350 area. That would sort of be the next level to watch out for. It's a little bit hopeful thinking, but that is a level I'd watch. And then if we go down to the 30-minute here, here's your next 2 immediate rejection points. You can see right here, 11,000 and 11,100 are the 2 levels that I'd be watching. To the downside, if we get, higher than expected CPI, if the market moves negatively, if we break this 10.8, right, this will definitely be a little bit of a destructive move in my opinion. If we start breaking under that 10.8, if we turn it into a rejection, if we start breaking down under this level, if I go to the daily chart, you will see that there's not much support under 10.8 here. So let me take off these SMAs under 10.8, which is, let me extend this to the left. Under 10.8, you have maybe like these wick lows. You can sort of watch this 10.650. Maybe you can watch some of these wick lows around this 10.4. But in my opinion, if we really do see a downside reaction off CPI, if we really do see bad, inflation staying high, I don't think you're going to stop until this pre-COVID level. I think that's probably your next target right down here. So that's around 9,700, 9,750, 10,000 area on the NASDAQ. If it's worst case scenario. So I'm just sort of plotting out the best and worst case scenarios. Maybe we find something in between, but we have pre-COVID level here around that 9,750. I would watch that if it's really ugly to the downside. That is a pretty, I don't think that would happen today. That's a really big downside move. That's 10%. 10% on the NASDAQ would not be a good day. But I would watch maybe, this 10.8 first, and then probably these wick lows around this 10.5. You can see right in here. So right in this general area, you guys can see right here, this little wick, these wick lows right there. That's something I'd watch. That's right around 10.5. So 10.5, 10.8, and then you have the pre-COVID level around 9,800. Those are the 3 levels I'm watching to the downside. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and extend this to the right. And I'm going to zoom into it on the short term. That is, what is that? What's that 10.5? How low is that? It's about a 3% move to the downside. So let's just forecast, a 3% move upside or downside. 3% move to the upside would probably put us around that 11.3, and then 3% move to the downside would put us around that 10.5. Those are like the extreme levels that I would watch today. If I had to put like just a barrier around where I think we can move today, I would say plus or minus about 3.5%, 4%. That's 4%. That's 4%. That's exactly 4%. And this is exactly 4% too. Wow. Yeah. So 10,350 is exactly 4% upside. 10,500 is exactly 4% downside. Those are like those are the upper and lower barriers that I would watch today. All right. So that's the NASDAQ. ES. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. You guys can see the ES is just sort of chopping here again in the middle. You can see around 36.50 to around 35.80. We've just been sort of sideways in this market. If I go to the daily chart, go ahead and get some more time here. Let's look at some of these previous levels themselves. So the 35.80 level that we've been holding on to, it's this high right here, right? This high from back in the 2nd of September 2020. You guys can see this little high and this little consolidation. That's 35.80, right? So we've been sort of sitting right above this previous high on the ES. If we get the downside today under 35.80, right, I don't expect any of this to hold us up. This is just, straight up and down action. I would expect us back at 3,400. 3,400 is the pre-COVID high, right? This is when COVID came out. You guys can see we dropped 33% in a month. That was crazy. And on top of that, I don't know if you guys remember, we had some nice circuit breakers intraday, which was wild as well. So 35.80 is where we've been trying to hold on this week. If we drop that 35.80, it's just about 5% back towards that pre-COVID level. That's around 3,400. That's something I would be watching. Post-CPI, if it's very ugly, that's that pre-CPI 3,400. If we see upside, let me go ahead and zoom in here. Go hourly. If we see upside, let's say we hold this demand at 35.80, which we've been holding on to, and we see a positive reaction off CPI, I'd probably watch for this move towards that 37.30. That's about 3.5% right here. These previous highs, this previous support, I would probably look at here. All right. So again, guys, I'm just sort of plotting out levels for you. I can't tell what's going to happen here. It's just not, I can't. We have CPI in about 14 minutes. It's unfortunate that I couldn't tell you what's going to happen. I wish I could, but we're just going to have to sort of watch these levels. I'll relook at these futures after CPI comes out, so we can sort of get an idea of where this market is moving. All right. We got to kill some time here. Unfortunately, I hate doing this, but we're going to have to kill some time because, everything's going to change in about 13 minutes. So let's just go ahead and chart through some levels here on some individual stocks. But, unfortunately, I got to sort of, let's look at the sectors. XLE, another nice move on XLE yesterday. It's continued to hold this demand, right? That's 78. You can see this little double bottom at 78. That's continued to hold up. So definitely watch that energy sector today. If I go out to the daily chart, you can see that we continue to hold this demand around this 78, right? You can see the 78 levels continuing to hold. If we get more upside, then keep an eye on that, right? You have XOM that's trying to hold this 97 level. You got CVX that's trying to hold this 155 level right here. So you do have some demand holds on the energy names. You can see CVX is holding that 155 pretty nicely and starting to curl back to the upside. If we go to Oxy, we can see Oxy. Let's go ahead and zoom out here. Not really sure where Oxy's holding. It's just sort of a random spot. I don't really see a technical level here. Maybe you could say it's holding, And maybe you can say it's holding these previous lows right here around 62. You can see previous lows here, previous low here, and a little double bottom low there at 63. That's probably where I'd say it's trying to hold on to. If we go to the 15-minute chart, look at the reaction to 63 the last 2 days, right here. So that's probably the level I'd watch on Oxy if you're watching that one. Little double bottom at 63. If you break the 63, I would assume downside. If the XLE sector moves higher, if energy moves higher today, then you might be able to play it off that 63 today. So XLE, definitely a little bit of upside the last few days, a little bit of a demand hold. I would watch that today. XLP, the defensive sector, it has been getting a little bit of a bid over the last few days, but look at what's going on here on the XLP. Look at where it's rejecting. So the XLP pushed right back into that 68 level, which is that previous demand, and look at what it did yesterday, right at 68. Let me go to the 5-minute chart. Look at that rejection at the exact level that I have drawn out. So this 68 level is turning into a rejection level. That's a little concerning. If I go out to the weekly chart, right, what is that 68 level? It's a pretty major level on the weekly chart. You have support here, you have support here, you have support here on the weekly, and it just bounced into that level and rejected, right here. Look at this daily chart. So you can see that rejection candle on the daily on the XLP. If the XLP can't get back above that 68, then I think this could be a little bearish rejection here, depending on the market, of course. But definitely a 68 rejection is not a good thing for the XLP. I would definitely be watching that. With that, right, with the XLP, I know Target's a little bit consumer discretionary, but I think it has a little bit of an effect on Target. I'm really liking this Target potential setup here, if the market's weak, of course. You got a 4-hour chart, guys. I'm not looking at AMC, Paris. Sorry, it's just not. I don't look at AMC here. So you guys can see right here, you have support at that 158. You can see that support level right there, and then look at what's going on here at this rejection. Right, so I like this setup. This is something I was sort of talking to the group about yesterday, and sort of letting them know that I'm watching this. If the market's weak today, right, I like this. I like that. Right? I like that. That's a pretty nice looking setup. This is exactly what I took on Costco, and it worked out really nice. So here's Costco. You can see pretty much the exact same kind of setup. You can see that upside, the rejection at the key level, and then the bear flag breakdown. This is looking pretty damn similar to Target here. So this is something I'm watching. Of course, if the market rallies today, that's not going to happen. It's not going to work. But that is definitely a monitor for me there. How's my end phase put? Good. It's still hanging in there. It's about, I think I'm slightly green on it after yesterday, but I still like this play a lot. I just need it to break 246. You can see end phase sort of slipping again yesterday. I think it has to, at some point, end phase will be back at 220. Matter of if I time it right. Yesterday I pushed my contracts out another week to get it more time. I pushed them out to the 25th. But yesterday was a good day for the puts. You guys can see we sort of just continued the straight downside move yesterday. Not much relief, right? You can see just straight downside yesterday, right into that 246 again. And it held once again. So you can see held there. This is where we got to get the end phase short to get, we need to see end phase get under this 246 for this move to really start working. If it doesn't, then, this play might take more time than anticipated. But we can see, right, channel low, rejecting it, very weak here. Need to see that break of 246. If we get the break of 246, I just don't see how end phase holds up before 220 here. So that's a play I'm in. We'll see what happens. If it actually goes to 220 in a pretty nice fashion, it'll be a very nice payday. So I'll be watching it. Yeah, it has earnings the 25th. That's something I'm watching out for, right? This is not shorting the lows, Tony. This is the highs on end phase. I was shorting around 270. So end phase is certainly not at the lows. End phase is up from the beginning of this year. End phase is up. It was up 120%. It is now up 72%. So, yeah. Oh, not talking. All right, gotcha. Yeah. So, end phase. That's something I'm looking at. We got about 7 minutes. 7 minutes. What else can we look at? Let's look at good old Tesla. Tesla. Yeah, just a pretty major level coming in here on Tesla. You guys can see here. Look at this 206 on the weekly chart. All right, that is a pretty major level. This is a shelf that really needs to hold on Tesla. You can see right there, big time pivot low. If we break that pivot low, all right, there's definitely going to be some continuation there. The next level that it looks like we are going to move lower is around that 180 potentially if we get more downside. Can we get 1,000 likes? Hey, maybe one day, 10, but hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thanks for the 199. So if we break this 206 on Tesla, if we're looking at this weekly chart, there's definitely room towards that 180. That's this little double bottom right here. You guys see that on the weekly chart? That double bottom. If we break the 206, this pivot low right here, I would say 180 is probably the target if we get more downside on the market, of course. If we get upside on the market, you may look back and say, damn, that was a good buy on Tesla at 206, right? At this double bottom. So definitely watch out for Tesla, right? This is when there's possibility of large upside because you have been straight down 30% over the last 21 days. So if you get market upside, right? Let's say CPI comes in lower, it's total possibility. If you get market upside, I mean, there could be a decent risk to reward for upside on Tesla here, even on a swing trade. If we get, this is all hypothetical at this point, guys, right? It's all hypothetical. I'm not saying this is a good play or not, but if there is upside on the CPI move, right, there could be a swing trade on Tesla here. It's down 30% in 20 days. It's at a pretty good support level here, right? It could be a good risk reward. Your risk is under that 206. Your reward is probably back up to that 255. So, I would keep an eye on some of these moves that are pretty drastic to the downside in case there is some type of opportunity. You don't want to have to panic. If you see upside, you want to know what you're looking at before this morning. So we'll do that after CPI comes out. But as of right now, I think Tesla, if you get upside on the market, that's a pretty good risk to reward right there towards that 206 low. Apple is another one that might have some good risk to reward here. You guys can see we're sort of consolidating at this low around this 137. All right, you guys can see this 137 low that is continuing to hold on. You have that low around 131, which is possible as well, but you've had a nice downside move. Let's say there's opportunity to the upside. This is a nice demand level to play off of. If we lose the 137, if there's market reaction to the downside, I would say 131, very possible here. Any bets? I think we could all sort of in our minds say I could totally foresee them, making everything look dandier than it is. I think we all can. I think we all could foresee that situation. Let's make things look a little bit more dandy than they really are. But who knows? Microsoft dead. Microsoft's just a dead stock right now. It's crazy. The thing's just been moving down and down and down. One stock that I would like, or one sector that I would focus on today, guys, is travel. Yesterday, the travel stocks were very hot. So keep an eye on those travel stocks. Airbnb was pretty hot here, and I sort of like this Airbnb hold. Look at this Airbnb hold here at 105. You want to check the VIX or the VIXY or whatever you want to call it, UVXY. I mean, it's going to be very drastically affected in about 3 minutes there, 10x or 10K. So technicals aren't really going to be very helpful for you here. It's going to be very drastically affected in about 3 minutes. So, yeah, that's a little bit of a dangerous one, especially coming into CPI to play the VIX into CPI. That's probably the most drastic thing you could do, but yeah, I mean, let's see what happens in 3 minutes. What I'm about to tell you before CPI is totally irrelevant. Just know that. So Airbnb, appreciate the 199 again, though, my friend. Appreciate that. 105. Look at this hold on Airbnb, right? This previous rejection into support, and travel stocks were pretty hot yesterday. Airbnb was up. Airbnb's up about 6% from yesterday's open, so definitely watch that. All right, let's get this pulled up. It's just about time, guys. So if you guys want to press that like button, we have a lot of people here today. Welcome to you, 1,800. That's a lot more than usual. So I hope you guys are prepared. Let's see what happens. Sorry, this chart's ugly. It's not formatted how I like it, but it'll do the job. So right side ES, left side NASDAQ. All right, let's see what these reactions are. Let's get these levels in focus. So we have that. Oh, okay. This is before. Hold on. This not even. I don't even think it's out yet. We're getting a little volatility before it's even out. All right. What do we got? We got 20 seconds. You know what? I'm going to go to the SPY because the SPY gives me that live news. All right, here we go. Jay Price, thank you, my friend. Thank you for the donation, as always. So I'm going to wait to see if I can grab that CPI number here in the live news. I'm also going to keep an eye on the Discord with the bot from Mr. Walter Bloomberg. All right, we're moving down a little bit here. Yep. That's a little bit of downside there. Okay, that is, yep. That's not good. What's the number? I mean, that's good for my end phase puts. I'll say that. What's the number? Oh, that's not too bad. Oh, yes, it is. Okay, never mind. That just totally lagged there. What's the number? All right, 0.4 consent. Oh, God, it came in higher. Huh. Okay, 8.2 versus 8. Yeah, it's still higher than expectation. Yeah. I would agree that the first move's not always a real move, but this is a big move, guys. I don't think you're coming back from this move. This is a really monster move here. This is 4% already. We're already at that 10.5 level we talked about. Maybe you could see some upside, guys, but that's a pretty big downside move. That's 4% already. All right, maybe there's something off this 10.5. 3,400 was that level we were eyeing. We're not that far off from that. This 10.5 level was the level we were talking about before the CPI came out. It's lower than the previous. Let's go ahead and pull up. Investing.com. What's end phase doing? Uh-oh. The website's down. Everyone's looking for the CPI numbers. Wow. Yeah, their website crashed. All right, well, is it... Yeah, wow. Big downside there, huh? All right. Let's start looking around. So definitely some downside. Definitely higher. It looks like higher than anticipated CPI. Did you really just make $41,000? All right, Wathy. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, if you were short futures there, you probably just made a ton of money. So, all right, let's continue. All right, so there's the NASDAQ, all right? 10.5, that's where we're sitting. What's end phase at? Oh, baby. Yeah, that might be a nice one for me. Let's get this end phase going. This might be nice. All right, let's look around. Now the live stream begins. Tesla. Tesla is at 210. That is back at the level. That is back at the level here. So 205, 210. Then I would be watching to see what it does there. If it breaks that 205.83, I'm going to go ahead and 205.83. If we break 205.83 today, I'm looking for break and retest to the downside towards 180. So 205.83, keep that level on watch on Tesla. Let's go NVIDIA. NVIDIA, big crack. Let's go 1 day yearly chart. Let's get some more time. All right, NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is below. Yeah, it's below that. Oof, NVIDIA. I don't see much here on NVIDIA, guys. To be quite honest. So you got 115.72. We're quite below that. I would say next level here is let me zoom in. Probably 105. I think your next level is 105 on NVIDIA right here. Yeah, 105, 106. That's what I'd look for. 105, 106. Look for that 105, 106 today on NVIDIA. That's probably your next stop here. So I'd watch 105, 106 on NVIDIA. How's NASDAQ doing? Still moving lower? So on the NASDAQ, you guys can see we're at that 10.5, right? That level we were talking about. So let me get some more time here. I can't see. Let's go weekly. Okay, here we go. So we were just sort of talking about that 10.5 shelf here on the NASDAQ. That's exactly where we're trading at right now. So that's the level I'd keep an eye out for. If we lose this 10.5 right here, you see this 10.5 shelf? That's where we're trading at as we speak. So watch out for that. That's where we could try to find some hold there. Watch that 10.5 area. If we break that, definitely more downside. That's where you're seeing a little bit of a reaction, right? So that's the first thing to watch out for. ES, where's ES finding a reaction at? 35.10? Where's this 35.10 level at? Let's get an idea of what this is doing here. 35.10. I don't get that, really. I don't see why it would hold there. 35.10. Oh, let me see. Yeah, I mean, there's a little something here at 35.10, right? You can see this little shelf here, maybe a previous high. But I don't really see that as a major level, 35.10. That could continue to slip, in my opinion. 35.10. That's where it's trying to hold on to short term. Let's go AMD. So where's AMD at? AMD is trading at 50. Oh, AMD is actually sort of holding here. That's interesting. Look at AMD's resiliency. That's interesting. That's suspicious. You can see right here. Look at that resiliency on AMD. So 56. Shit. I did not expect that. So watch that 56. If we can get a nice rejection off that, that might be a nice play today. But yeah, interesting to see AMD holding that 56. That's the level to watch there. Let's go Apple, because Apple is very important for this market. Let's go 4 hour on Apple. Yeah, I think Apple's got its move towards 131 coming in. I think that's probably your next spot, guys. 131. You can see the flush under 137. You can see the 131 level here. I think that's your next stop. So what would I look for? I would look for maybe a break and retest of 137, or maybe even a break and retest of these lows here. What's that, 138? But I would ultimately look for that move into 131 if this downside continues today, right? So Previous support here. I'd look for that 131 hold. Move to 131 on Apple. What else? Amazon. Amazon, I'm sure, broke 112. Yep, it sure did. Amazon breaking 112. I would assume if the market continues, you're going to move back down to your next shelf, which is 102. So not much support under 112 on Amazon here. You can see the break of that major support, and I would look for the move into 102 here, right? Right here, 102. If you get a let's say you get some type of fake pop on Amazon, I would look for maybe a push back into 110, 111. Look for a rejection here, right? If you can get something like this, start to reject this level, and then your ultimate move back down to 102. So I'm going to keep an eye on that today. You can see a big break of that hourly shelf right here. You had a little bit of a support that got built around this 110, 111. You can see we're cracking it today. So keep an eye on that. Let's go Netflix. Yeah, Netflix is sort of maintaining this low also. Netflix has been very resilient itself. So Netflix trying to maintain this 213 low. You can see right here. Netflix still sort of holding this level. So interesting enough. But if you get a clean break on Netflix, there's definitely some downside. So if you get a clean break on Netflix, 213, you got this low here, and this low here. You need a clean break of this channel. If you get it, I think there's downside opportunity. But yeah, Netflix, look at that. Pretty resilient. It looks like the stocks that are like so dead are sort of holding on. Like Netflix is down a shitload. AMD's down a lot too. So, yeah. What's Enphase still moving for us, or is she bouncing on us? All right, 240. We're getting a little bit moved there. What's Nasdaq up to? Yeah, it's trying. I mean, it's nothing, guys. Look at the. Yeah, it's trying to hold that 10.5, but right now I'd say nothing too strong there. All right. What else? Let's think. Target. The target play. That might be in play now, right? Let's look at that target play. Look at this. This looks pretty nice. Look at this target play here. So look at that rejection. Look at that support. I'm liking this play. This might be something I'm looking to get into today. Maybe for continuation. I like that bear flag. It looks really good to me. This is textbook. So definitely watching that on target. All right. Let's go. What am I missing? That's important? Let's go Meta. Meta. Oh, yeah, Meta's getting hit. Meta's been bad, man. Meta has been bad. Ouch. So Meta, I was actually charting this level out this morning. Looks like we're right at it already. 123. You guys can see right here. 123. This low. This is the low of 2018. 2018 low. Would you believe it if I told you that Meta was at 2018 lows at the beginning of this year? So 2018 lows on Meta. That is 120. What's the exact level here? The exact level is 123.02. Meta 123.02 is the exact lows of 2018. And as of today, we are trading at 123.60. So I would watch that 123.02, see how it reacts off that level. All right? 123.02 on Meta. Dollar Tree. You got it, Richie. Let's go Dollar Tree. Where are we at after the CPI? 135. So we're at these lows right here. So yeah, I would just look to see if Dollar Tree breaks those lows. If Dollar Tree breaks these lows at 134.50, 135, then I would say you move into this 125 level, Richie. But you got to break this little shelf, right? You can see we've just been consolidating here. So you got to get out of this channel first. But we'll keep an eye on which way this breaks out of this channel. 135 to 145. Google, I'll take a look. Look at the XLP, right? So the XLP you can start to see is starting to move lower off CPI, and you can see, look at this rejection here. Look at this break and retest on the 4-hour on the XLP. This is pretty big. Previous support into a pretty major rejection, right, guys? So watch that XLP. If that XLP continues lower, watch out for those safety names. Google, let's take a look at Google. I'm going to look at Goog. I like Goog better for charting. I don't really know why, but I do. Goog, I think, needs to come back down to this 91 area. Right? This little shelf here at 91. I think it's going to be heading back to that. Google's probably the exact, Goog L is probably the exact same. Yeah, it's around 90. Yep. So I think it's got to get back there. That would be my next stop there on Goog. 91.50. It's just about another 4 or 5% lower. If you zoom out to this weekly chart, it looks like that's where it needs to head to, right? These charts aren't going to just stop and push to the upside out of seemingly nowhere. It needs to come back down to some type of previous area. So for me, it's around that 91.50. So I would look for Goog to 91.50. All right. So guys, I guess main thing to look out. I'm just gonna sort of give you a little. Main thing to look out for is how NASDAQ reacts at 10.5. I think that's a major level here. I think you watch every time you get a new low, just watch that low. So right now we got a low of 10.506, right? So if we break that low, you continue to look for that downside. So what you're going to be looking for a lot today is you're going to be looking a lot for something like this, right? The previous lows turning into rejections. All right, so you have a previous low now. So let's say you get a bounce. Look for that to turn into a rejection. All right, if you continue to make lower lows and lower highs, and you continue to see the market reject the previous low like this, then I would say you continue to look for shorts. All right, so continue to watch those lows step in as resistance today. That's sort of what I would be watching if you're looking for that downside. So as of right now, you got a low around that 10.506, right around here. So I'd look for a break of this low. If it comes in, I'd look for it to retest and turn into a rejection to have confirmation. I would also chart out this little wick high that we've had today on the NASDAQ. You can see around that 10.580. So I'd be watching this channel for now on the NASDAQ. On the ES, yeah, looking weak on the ES. Very weak. I think the ES has more here. I don't really know why the ES is holding at this. I think the NASDAQ's holding up the ES here. So if I go to the daily chart on the ES, you guys can see we're just holding at this random spot, 35.10. I don't know how long that's going to hold on to. For me, you need to come back down to these COVID highs, pre-COVID highs, around 3,400. If this is a legit move to the downside, that's where we need to move to, right? We just broke the lows on SPY. Tesla needs to come down to 205. I think that's a minimum, right? If you look at this daily chart, at a minimum, Tesla needs to come down to this previous wick low, 206, right? I think it's definitely heading there today, 206.86. So I'd watch that. All right, guys. Well, I know this is a little bit all over the place because we're sort of working in the middle of economic data. But for me, guys, I would let me go over like the top tech stocks here for you, and then we're gonna head out of here. Tesla 206.86. Watch that wick low. Apple, I would look for a move on Apple into 131 today. That would be my target. If Apple can see a move into that 131, that's that low here. Around 130, 131, it's breaking under a pretty key channel, so I would look for that continuation. NVIDIA, I'm watching that 105, 106, right? That's the next level that I'm keeping an eye out for. AMD, AMD lost it. Watch for AMD to do a little retest here of 56. Maybe if we can get a little break and retest of 56 for more downside, I would watch for that. And Enphase, if you guys are in Enphase, it's looking real good for us, folks. We might get that 220 move. This might be a really big trade for me, so I'll keep you updated on this one. Target. Yeah, I would watch Target as well. That's one of my next watches. Target on this 4-hour bear flag. I would definitely have this on your screens today. For Target to get going, I think you need to break some of these lows first. So for me, I would say a break of like this 151 area and then a break of this 148. Get us going under that bear flag. That's what I would watch for. This little 151, 150 area right there. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna head over to the Discord. It's a busy morning in the Discord chat. So if you guys want to come hang out, make sure to check it out down below. It's down in the description. It says Trade Live with me. Make sure to check out that giveaway down below. Giving away an MSI computer and 2 widescreen monitors. Nice trading setup. Check that out as well. Thank you guys for being here. I hope I helped you a little bit today. I'm sorry that it wasn't as structured as usual, but there's a lot of things going on in the market, so we gotta sort of adapt and overcome. So thank you so much. Press the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.